getting myself organised. Hello. Okay, so I thought we'd do just something, a bit of a fun kind of game to play with your dogs today. So on Monday we did the little scent work exercise where we were putting things under cups for their tea. Excuse me. And I know a lot of people got on quite well with that, using that as their tea time activity. So what I thought I'd do today is give you another tea time activity to do with your dogs. So this is something that you can use tonight, you can use whenever you like. So it's about, what time is it? It's a little bit early for Joey's tea, but we're gonna let him have his tea early tonight. So I've got his food measured out in his cup. So this is just it's just dry biscuits. This is just his dry food there. So I've got that ready to go, and then I don't know about you, but I'm having quite a few deliveries at the moment because I've got obviously it's easier to get things delivered, isn't it, than sort of going out and about to the shops and stuff like this. So I've had a few deliveries, and some of these parcels I think are absolutely perfect for making activity toys for our dogs and for feeding them their meals in. So I'm going to make one for Joey out of the stuff that I've got in today's delivery. So I've got some paper bags. These are quite big paper bags. I've got some of those. And then I've got some like cool packaging here, which I just thought it's an interesting shape. So I thought that'd be quite good. That. A bit more there. Now, and then I've got the box then that all this came in. So I've got sort of a decent sized box there as well. So there's kind of different levels to this. I think this is going to be quite a challenging one, so I might end up having to help him out with it. If your dog hasn't done anything like this before, so if your dog hasn't done any sniffing out of treats in boxes or in tissue or anything like that before, you might want to do an even easier version than what I'm going to be doing now. So base it on their experience. You could always try an easy one with part of their food, and then if that's too easy for them, you can save the other part back then for a more difficult one. So you're almost better starting off too easy than too hard, because if you start off too hard and they kind of look at it and think, I can't do that, then they're just going to lose interest and walk away. So you're better off sort of setting them up for success, starting with something that's quite easy, and then if that's too easy for them, then you can move it up. So Joey's been doing kind of activities in boxes for a really long time. Hi, Sarah. For a really long time, so he's used to doing them. The fact that he's an older gentleman, an old boy, means that it does slow him down a little bit, but generally he knows what he's doing. So I'm going to make it tricky, but not too tricky, so that you can see what he's doing when he's kind of getting into it. So I'm just going to use all of these different bits and pieces as layers. I'm not going to put treats in the carrier bags and then put that in the box, because that would be quite hard, but you could do that. So you could put a few of the biscuits in this bag and then put them in the box afterwards. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put kind of the carrier bag in the bottom, and then I'm going to do it like layers, so it's almost a bit like a lasagna kind of thing. So we've got a layer of that in, and then I'm just sprinkling some of his food in, and then I'm going to put one of these in. I'm just going to put one in. And then I'm going to sprinkle a few of the treats on top of that as well. And then I'm going to put another layer of the paper bag in there. And the other thing to remember when you're doing this is the tighter you pack it, the harder it's going to be. So I could pack it a lot tighter than that. I'm not doing it too difficult for him. Put another carrier bag in there. More of these treats in. And then I'm going to put in another carrier bag on top, and then a few more treats, and then I'm going to use that one because it looks quite cool, doesn't it? So I'm going to put that one on top, and then I can put treats on there. And because he's used to doing this, he's quite good at not eating the cardboard in it. He's quite good at just concentrating on eating the food. You do need to supervise them with something like this, so you don't want to just leave them this and kind of go off and leave them to it, just in case they do start nibbling bits of the packaging. If they eat a tiny little bit of cardboard or a bit of paper, it's probably not going to be the end of the world. But obviously we don't want them eating a lot of it, because that's what's going to cause problems and blockages and things. And I've got some bits left over for breakfast tomorrow, or for next time when we do it. So I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to go and get Joey, and I'm going to move the camera around so you can actually see him getting it. So when I last looked, he was fast asleep. I know he's not, he's awake now. He's awake now. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see him. There we go. Right. So even though he's not been able to hear what I've been doing, he will be able to smell it. There we go. Some problem solving straight away. Go on, yes. So he knows that it's in there. So one thing I could do to make this a little bit easier if I needed to would be to tip the box over for him. See if that would help. You're going in the wrong place there. Shall I help you? You're going to the wrong... That's not got any treats in. There's nothing there, Joey. Come along now. Right, I'm just going to give him a little bit of a helping hand. Tip it over. Ah, there we go. So he's got quite a few of the treats there now, so he knows it's worthwhile getting stuck in there. We did do it. The reason the ball's out is because we actually did it earlier with the ball as well. So we put the ball inside. I tried to do it on the carpet so we didn't fall over, but of course he's moved off the carpet. Hi, Bethany. Woo! Careful now. Hey, good boy. Just now hold it still for him so we can try and get in there. There. And that way he can get the carrier bags out as well. So if as I say, I've not wedged them into too much because I don't want it to be too challenging for him. There's more in there. And the beauty about this sort of exercise is these are all things that they'd just be going in the recycling anyway. So it doesn't matter if they get destroyed or chewed up or messed around with, because they're just going to go in the rubbish anyway. So if he does chew them a little bit, I'm not bothered about that at all. And because he's so focused on his treats, he's not really too interested in the packaging and the cardboard anyway. Okay, so he's figured out that that's got some treats in now. Yay! There we go. So now what you'll all be doing when you get any parcels this week is you'll be looking at your parcels thinking, oh, that's an interesting shape. Let's save that for an activity toy. Like things like egg boxes work really well. I'm getting a nice covering of spit all over the floor as well. Obviously you can't have a clean house on a dog, can you? Right, so I think, has he got all of those? No, he hasn't. There's still some in there. He's just gone for the tub. He's just gone for the tub that did have the treats in. So what I'd like you to do for me is, if you have a go with this with your dogs and your puppies this afternoon, I want you to go and have a bit of a rummage around and see what you've got in your recycling, see what you can use to make a similar activity toy. As I said, make it easy to start off with. Don't make it too difficult. In hindsight, maybe this was a little bit too tricky for him, but I'll know now for next time, won't I? And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to do a video of your dog or your puppy, what you've made for them, and how they get on with it as well, so we can all have a little look and see how they're getting on. So I think he's still got 2 more layers in there, because it really is like a lasagna. I don't want him to get his head stuck in. Because it's been quite warm today, he's not actually had a walk yet either, because I'm waiting for it to cool down. What I've found is that as he gets older, definitely noticed it sort of the last 2 summers, is that as he gets older, he gets much hotter when he's out on walks. So even though it's just kind of pleasantly warm today, it's too hot for him out and about on a walk. He'll get out and he'll be panting straight away. So we've really had to learn to avoid it, even if it's t-shirt weather. It's too warm for Joey, so we're waiting until this evening. So this is a nice activity to keep him busy until it does start to cool down a little bit later. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a good idea of an activity to do for tea. So as I say, see what's in your recycling, see what's in your brown bin or whichever colour bin it is that you've got that you keep your cardboard in. Make them kind of an activity toy where there's layers inside a box, and pop their food in. And if you don't want to do it with their food, so if they're fed like a wet food, you could, or a raw food, you could just do it with biscuity type treats, bits of cheese, things like that would work really well. And then if you video it for me, and then you can upload it to the group, and then we can all have a little look then, can't we? Okay, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a lovely Wednesday evening, and I will see you all in the group. Okay, bye.